welcome back to Drunk on Wanderlust. I'm Kerry.
And I'm Danny, and we just want to say a very big Happy New Year to you all!
Now, for our first video in 2023, we're going to be looking at two of my favourite hiking trails and doing a bit of a comparison video. The West Highland Way versus the East Highland Way.
Now, both of them are absolutely beautiful trails up in the Scottish Highlands. They're perfect for hiking and for wild camping, but maybe you're wondering which one would suit you the most?
Well, watch on, my friend, because we're going to find out. But before we do, I need you to quickly hit that like and subscribe button, because we are doing a ton more hiking trails and making cool videos for you in 2023.
There's going to be lots of wild camping as well, so stay tuned for the video. The West Highland Way versus the East Highland Way.
The West Highland Way runs from Milngavie near Glasgow up through the West Highlands to Fort William. The trail is 96 miles long and opened in 1980. It was Scotland's first officially designated long-distance route and is also the most popular. Around 35,000 people take on this hiking trail each year from all over the world. The East Highland Way starts where the West Highland Way finishes, in Fort William. It runs eastwards across the Scottish Highlands and ends in Aviemore. This trail is 14 miles shorter, at just 82 miles in total. It's a fairly new trail and was only devised in 2007. Due to this, substantially less people attempt it each year, meaning you mostly have the trail to yourself, even in the summer months. Now, everyone has their own preferences. Some people prefer a quieter trail.
And other people prefer a busier trail because it might be a solo hike that you're on and it's nice to see people around, or it might be your first long distance hiking trail and you might need a little bit of help.
Yeah, now with a quieter trail, I like that you get more privacy, you get the top pick of all the wild camping spots, you can connect with nature, and I feel it's more of a sense of an adventure, kind of navigating the wilderness on your own.
But if you are on a busier trail, you always have people around, you get to meet trail companions, you get to meet like-minded people, you can make friends for life. Shout out to people like Devon and Charlotte who we've met on trails. And also, if you get into any trouble or you need any help, there's always people around. Safety in numbers.
But we want to know, what do you prefer? Let us know in the comments. Do you like a busier or a quieter trail? Let us know. Right, let's have a quick comparison of the difficulty of these trails. Now, both trails are rated as medium on the Hiker app, medium difficulty, and let's find out why.
Now, as we saw earlier, the West Highland Way is a longer trail and it also has a higher elevation at 2,693 metres.
Yes, the East Highland Way, on the other hand, is shorter and considerably flatter, with only 1,447 metres total elevation. But you actually quite liked this, didn't you, when we were doing it?
I loved it. I'm not a fan of massive climbs. I don't really like hills, but it's still a beautiful trail despite not taking in as much elevation. But it does take a lot more navigating.
Yeah.
Now, there's some trail markers, but they're very few and far between. Sometimes you'd go days without seeing one and you wouldn't pass a town either, so you wouldn't often see people. So you definitely need a GPS or a map for the East Highland Way.
Halfway through stage 2 and we've spotted our first East Highland Way marker. Now, this isn't really a marked trail, it's fairly new. It was only actually devised, like I said before, in 2007, but I think here they've put one so to avoid confusion because of the gate, East Highland Way. And the West Highland Way, on the other end of the spectrum, being Scotland's most popular hiking trail, was very well marked from start to finish. I barely even needed a map.
Now, on the East Highland Way, there were some tricky sections, especially all the river crossings. This is the third time that we've had to cross this stream. Luckily for us, we've got beautiful weather, so it's okay. But just be prepared if you're doing this trail in the rain or in the colder months, because the water will probably be quite a lot higher and it might be quite difficult. Now, if the weather had been anything but glorious, these bits would have been really difficult, especially in the rain, and some of it might have even been a bit too dangerous to attempt. However, there is a diversion you can take instead.
Now, I think the trickiest part of the West Highland Way was actually that really long stretch up the side of Loch Lomond. It was a scramble. It took far longer than I expected, and I found it quite difficult with my big pack on, climbing over tree branches and big boulders. So make sure you allow plenty of time for that section.
And take snacks.
Snacks!
But which trail is the most beautiful? That's the most important thing.
I honestly couldn't say. I think both trails were absolutely spectacular. So what I've done is made a little montage video of each trail, and we're going to let you decide. You need to vote in the comments which one you think is the most beautiful. This one is the West Highland Way. Simply gorgeous. Okay, now this one is the East Highland Way.
Now, I simply couldn't choose between them. They're both beautiful. Now, which one did you think? Drop us a comment.
Okay, finally, we're going to talk about the resupply stops along the routes and, of course, the wild camping options.
But first, we just want to tell you a little bit about our new small business.
Yes, if you'd like to support us and our channel, please check out our new website, officiallysmashedit.com. Here, let's take a quick look. Celebrate your hiking achievements with Officially Smashed It's sustainable, non-plastic souvenirs. We hand make these beautiful collectible medals for any hiking trail or mountain. Each medal has a magnet on the reverse and a detachable branded ribbon. We also donate money from each sale towards planting new trees with the organisation Just One Tree. These medals are perfect as a gift, and we'll even personalise them on request. We're also extremely excited to announce from next week onwards, you'll be able to find our medals in selected Visit Scotland tourist information centres, as well as online on our website.
We also have a new hiking club that we've set up, and we'll tell you a little bit about that later. So if you fancy joining us on a hike, stay tuned.
Okay, resupply stops. Now, the West Highland Way has got lots of resupply options, as you can see on the map here. Even if there's a long section in between shops, there's usually either a pub, a restaurant, or one of the many honesty boxes en route. So make sure you always take some loose change in case you come across one of those. I think the longest section without anything was the 20-mile section along the side of Loch Lomond. However, there is a hotel pub that's sometimes open at Roar Dennen. I think that's how you pronounce it. If not, sue me, let me know in the comments. So that breaks that up a little bit.
However, with the East Highland Way, there isn't really another resupply stop until you get to Lagan once you've left Fort William, and that is 46.5 miles away. We don't need that. However, you can resupply in Speenbridge if you go slightly off route. There was a co-op and a coffee shop, and that's what we did, but it still makes it 36.5 miles without anything. So you definitely need a lot of supplies on the East Highland Way.
Now, there are loads of great wild camping options on both trails. We've pitched up in some glorious spots, haven't we, on both the East Highland and the West Highland Way. Now on the West Highland Way, there's more kind of designated wild camping areas that you can use, and some of them you even get the use of some of the facilities around as well, much like the one at King's House Hotel. They let you use their bathroom facilities for free. Oh, on the downside of this, there's usually quite a few other tents around.
However, on the East Highland Way, it's more of a wild experience. It's more of a case of finding somewhere suitable and just pitching up. Now, there's not any facilities on the East Highland Way at all, and you'll often have the whole area to yourself.
Now, you can watch both of our trail videos on our channel, Drunk on Wanderlust, the East Highland Way and the West Highland Way, along with a ton of other hiking trails. And what we try and do is point out different options for wild camping spots on the map on those videos. So if you're ever stuck, make sure you give them a little watch. Now, one thing I am going to quickly touch on are the wild camping restrictions along the West Highland Way. Now, from the 1st of March through to the 30th of September, if you enter the camping management zone in the Trossachs National Park, you can only camp in the actual campsites, or you need to get a permit to camp in designated wild camping spots. So you need to kind of plan in advance that section of the trail, whereabouts you want to camp, and make sure you've either got a spot booked or a permit booked. Okay, so there we go, the East Highland Way and the West Highland Way. I couldn't choose between the two. I think they were equally wonderful. They're actually two of my favourite hiking trails that I've done so far. But what do you think? Which one do you think would suit you the most? Let us know in the comments. I highly recommend just do them both. Why not? Why don't you do the West Highland Way and go straight on and do the East Highland Way? But they are two trails that I think you should definitely try in your lifetime.
And also, don't forget, if you fancy joining us on a hike, join our officially Smashed It Hiking Club. You can find us on Facebook. We'll leave the link in the description below. We do a range of hikes, from day hikes to overnight camps. We'll go to Scotland, Wales, wherever you want to go, we'll go. Come and join us. We've already done a couple. We've met some new friends, and it's great.
Yeah, so thanks again for watching, everybody. We really appreciate it. We hope you're having a lovely 2023 so far, and we'll see you on the next video.
Bye.
Bye.